Hello and welcome back to Imagination Mansion. So today I am doing my February and January wrap-up / favourites video. I haven't quite decided what to call it yet, and so I thought I'd basically go through everything that I have been enjoying or doing in the months of January and February. So I've sorted these into categories, which is basically books and manga, things, lifestyle things, and then games and hobbies and entertainment and stuff. Let's get started because I have a lot of things to go through. First up, because it's the one I'm most comfortable with and it's the one you guys will know the best, which is books. So first up, I'm going to start with one that I'm still currently reading, and it is taking me forever because I am determined to try and understand, which is Black Holes by Brian Cox and Jeff Forshaw, which is this one. So I am absolutely going to have to read this again because the first half of the book, I didn't get it. Like, there was too much maths and algebra goes completely over my head. So I think I basically will have to do almost like one of those future learn courses, but just for maths, just to try and, or maybe I just need to buy some study guides from work and just be like, let's just pretend I'm doing GCSE again, just so I can understand science books. But the writing style I'm enjoying, and the second half, which has less maths in it because it's more theoretical physics, I'm loving, so I just need to read it again. But I'm that far through, so I will finish it, take some time to cool off, and then, like I said, start again. But make notes next time. So that's that one. So next up is one I read in January, which is Critical Hits, Writers on Gaming and the Alternate Worlds We Inhabit, which is this one. So I really enjoyed this one. I'm not too big of a gamer. The games that I play are usually cozy games, but I used to play a lot more. My partner plays quite a few, and my brothers also used to play quite a few when we were growing up, and I used to watch them. So games have been more of a present in my life than I originally kind of would say. I've always said oh, I'm a book girly and all that kind of stuff, but it's no, I do enjoy games, even if I'm not actively playing them. I've watched other people play them, I've watched, things on YouTube and Twitch and things like that, and it was so interesting to just hear about people's individual experiences and how they've shaped them, how they've come to terms with certain things or certain identities and all that kind of stuff. Shows that they are things that should be just as valued as other things. So that's that one. So next up is one that I did enjoy, but I needed it to be a little bit bigger, which is 9 Musings on Time, Science Fiction, Science Fact and the Truth About Time Travel by John Gribben, which is this one. So I found it very, very interesting, especially as a reader of sci-fi. I found it quite interesting. I just needed a bit more science. So it was very let me just show you the length of a chapter. So each chapter is an idea and a theory and all that kind of stuff. It's that. It is just over 10 pages, and for a science book that is short, and as someone who, like I said, I'm not that good at maths, I haven't done physics past GCSE, I need a bit more information to be able to grasp the ideas. It was quite interesting to see which, sci-fi writers have written about what and the way they used it and how much science was in their work. I just needed a bit more of the actual science. But it was written well. It was enjoyable to read. I was just confused half the time, and I just need a bit more. So if you're a bit more in the know, I guess it's quite good, but otherwise, yeah, it was a bit, I needed a bit more. But that's that one. Next up is A Girl's Guide to a Future Dominated by AI, How to Talk to Robots by Tabitha Goldstaub. So it's that one. And this was quite interesting. So it was focusing kind of on women who want to work in STEM, who want to work in AI and computing and all that kind of stuff. But it was also saying how you should at least have a foot in the door and have a bit of know-how about these things, because it was saying, like, if everyone who is in the works of like AI and all this kind of stuff is old white men, then it's going to be very biased towards them and possibly very biased against everyone else. And so it's sort of like saying how the ways that, you know, technology can become biased, because it's being, especially AI, is being fed by algorithms and stuff like that, and it's being fed by data which is being generated by a very biased group. They're not necessarily trying to be biased, but they're feeding, especially if they're feeding them stuff off the internet, can be quite biased. I think there was an example of, I can't remember what company it was, but there was like a chatbot that was being programmed by the internet, and they left it alone for like 20 minutes, not that long. I can't remember if it was like 20 minutes or 2 hours or like a day or something like that, but not very long in the grand scheme of things. And it just started spewing out hate speech, and they were like, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, because it was feeding itself from the internet. And obviously, like, yes, there are scientific blogs and stuff like that on the internet, and actual useful advice and things like that that you can find. But there's also a lot of like personal blogs, all that kind of stuff, and then there's people blogging about how much they hate so-and-so and all that kind of stuff. So if all of that is going into it, and one is more prominent or just louder than the other, you're gonna have problems. So I do enjoy that it's saying, like, we need more people from different genders and different ethnicities and different walks of life to help program these things, so that we don't end up with sort of like serfdom 2.0, just with robots instead of people. So definitely worth a read. Some of the tech is slightly out of date now, because this was written in 2020 and AI, even in just 5 years, has come so much further than that. But I think as a base level of knowledge, and especially for the interviews at the back, it's very, very good. So next up is a children's novel, which is The Last Bear by Hannah Gold, which is this one. Now, I love this book, and this is how you put a message into a book and do it right. Because there are books where because this is about environmental issues, about climate change and things like that. And I've read books before that try and do that, but it's too disjointed. It's like a school lesson with some characters, and it kept bringing me out of the story, which then meant that the message was kind of disjointed, whereas this is a beautifully written story, and the message is fully integrated with the storyline, and you truly want to help by the end of the book. And it's such a beautiful message, such a beautiful story, such a beautiful friendship as well. And yeah, even as an adult, I recommend reading this one. And I have the sequel, and I've started reading some of it, but I'm already knowing I'm gonna love it. So I'm probably gonna read her new book as well, which is Turtle Moon, I believe, which I think is a similar kind of story, but it's with a girl saving turtles on the beach instead of a bear near the ice caps. That's that. Last up, as a complete 180, as you will be aware of on this channel, is The Lamb by Lucy Rose. So this is a horror. It's quite dark, as you'd expect from a horror, but the thing that made it so horrifying was the fact that it was sort of like, at least within the storyline, it sounded so possible, like it sounded so plausible, because it's about a family of cannibals, and it's told from like their point of, like, the child's point of view, and about how she still went to like normal school and all this kind of stuff, and it's about like how like her mother's habits, shall we say, led to some problems in her real life, and how like it was just so good. Like, I literally read it in one night. Reading it at night wasn't probably the best idea because I did have some strange dreams, but it was so good and it was so immersive and the storytelling was impeccable and it was just so good. Like I said, it is about cannibals, so obviously if that's a big ick, don't read it. But if you're not fussed by that and just the family dynamic and the characters and even some of the horror stuff that they described, it was just so harrowing, but in a good way. So I'm going to move on to the next one, which is mangas. So there's only a couple in here, well, actually 3, but for at least a couple of these I do have sequels coming on the way. So first up is The World After the Fall, which is this one, which is a web novel. So it is full colour and it's Korean. So it's about sort of like a post-apocalyptic, these towers suddenly pop up around the world and these people called tower walkers are invited to go up and fight the monsters within to save all the people on the outside. But then things start to change and I'm not sure if I like where it's going, but I'm curious enough that I've ordered volume 2. So it's very, very fascinating and I think it's very, very intriguing and it's like, oh, that's an interesting way to take it. I'm just not sure if I like it yet, if that makes sense. But like I said, I've ordered volume 2, so I will be reading that because I do still want to know what happens, if that makes sense. But yeah, just step one. And next up is a complete 180, which is A Man and His Cat, which is this one. It's by Umi Sakurai. Ooh, this one is by, I think, Undead Gamja. There's like, so it's Undead Gamja, Sing and Song, and Sai Esyanan. There we go. I'm always confused when there's more than one name. But that's that one. But yeah, Man and His Cat by Umi Sakurai. Just this one. And it's literally just the story of the main character is mostly the cat. And it's basically he's in a pet store, but he's seen as pretty ugly, so no one's bought him, even though they keep bringing the price down. He's still not selling until one day this old guy comes in and buys him, and he's like, oh, is it a present or something like that? And he's like, no, I just wanted the cat. And then you find out later on that like he lives alone, and so he wanted some company, and this is his first cat, and so it's just so heartwarming and cute. And I have indeed ordered the next couple, and I love it so much. So that's that one. Next up is a change in genre again. This one's a comedy. It is Blend S by Miyuki Nakayama. And I was actually quite surprised that this is new, because it came out in Japan in like 2015 and the anime came out not long after. So I remember seeing this and I was like, that's random for them to just randomly send us like a manga from like 2016. And then I looked it up and it's like only translated last year. And I was like, why? But yeah, it's a traditional sort of like 4-panel comedy strip, and it's basically about a cafe that is run by people who act as anime trope characters. So hers is the sort of like sadistic character because she has an RBF and she just constantly looks angry, and so they've decided to use that. And then there's like a tsundere and sort of like a little sister character and stuff as well, and new characters get added, but they're probably not until volume 2. So that's that one. And I am really enjoying it actually, and I do plan on pre-ordering the second one because this is how new it is. The second volume isn't even out yet, but that's that one. Next up, I think I'm going to go on to games. I've really gotten back into Sims 4 recently. So I've had it for years. I think I literally got it for my 18th, which just shows how long this game has been out, because I am 28. So this game has literally been out like 10 years, which always throws me that they're still coming out with new stuff, which I'm very happy about. But I've been getting back into that recently, because for the longest time, the way that I played The Sims was I would like obsess over the character creator and the house build and sort of like the starting the construction of their life. But then when it got into the monotony of just making sure they're fed, making sure they're going to the bathroom, making sure they like go for a jog every now and again, I get bored very, very quickly, and then just start a new character creation and a new thing, or I just turn the game off for months. But I've actually been getting more, I think partially because they've started these like challenges / storyline things. That's been quite interesting. And I think I might actually start playing like the story mode almost, where it's like, you've got tasks to do almost, because I think it was the lack of direction, which for some people love. I found it really boring because I'm like, especially if you give them a job, because then they're just gone for like half the day. So I do quite like the freelance jobs that they have now, because then you can at least micromanage that kind of stuff. That was another thing to stress out about keeping an eye on. But yeah, I've actually played a few now where I've actually played a bit more of their storyline, but then I could still feel myself getting a bit bored when I was like, right, oh come on, how long does a Sim's life last? Which is kind of morbid, but I'd been with them for so long that I was like, I want to finish the game, and I want it to just like finish, but so yeah. But one I've recently got back into is Stardew Valley. So I tried playing it once before, I want to say in about like 2019, 2020, something like that. And I just got really confused. I didn't know how to play it. I didn't understand what was going on. I was just struggling, especially because the time moves so quickly in the game. And yeah, I just didn't have a good time. Whereas I think, to be fair, I think they've done an update recently. And I think maybe it's not that now I'm better at the game, or I'm like something, it might just be that the game is now at a place where it's easier to play. So I have been playing a bit of that recently. Still not a lot, just like half an hour here and there, but it's been quite fun. I have a bit more of a farm now than I did last time, so that's fun. And then I'm still playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, not as much as I was before because I've now got other ones in the rotation, I suppose you could say, but I do still pop on there every now and again. I'll maybe do a quest here and there, or I'll just run around, fish, hit some rocks, and change my outfit a couple of times, talk to Goofy, and then log off again. You know, it's whatever I feel like, and that's kind of freeing. It's like I can do an in-depth, you know, build up the character, like friendship levels to unlock the next story and do this, that, and the other, or I can just, yeah, run around and pick up some pumpkins and then log off again. And I like how you can set the pace yourself, like there's no like time limits. It's only a time limit if they have an event, and even then the events are really long, so you've got plenty of time to do them. On my phone, I've recently been playing the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp app quite a lot, because they've recently basically released a complete version, which is paid for, like it is a paid for app, but that then means that there's no microtransactions in the app. So the reason why I'd kind of like play it for a bit and then uninstall it was because so many of the things were stuck behind paywalls. Sometimes not literally, but they had these things called leaf tickets where you, in the original game, you basically have to grind to get, and sometimes you just straight up couldn't get any, or you had to pay for them. And obviously all the nice things you paid leaf tickets for, because there was also like coins as well. But yeah, it was just, I was locked out of a lot of stuff. Especially it's like, I'm not one of these people who has the money that I can just buy tons of mobile app purchases. So when they came up with the complete version, it was like one payment and then everything is free to, like, everything is open to you, essentially. There's no microtransactions within that, which I was very grateful for, because then, yeah, you can collect the leaf tickets very easily, you can collect bells very easily, so you can basically actually purchase items, especially seasonal items, while they're in season, instead of like grinding for something and then the shop changes over, which happened to me a lot in the old game, so I was very happy that they changed that. And then because of that, I'm having more fun with it, I'm playing more of the events that they do, and yeah, I'm just having a better time with it, honestly. So this was definitely the right direction for them to go and actually like do that. Some apps that I have that aren't games, but I've still been enjoying are, so there's 4 that I'm going to talk about. So one is a app called Medita, I believe. I can't check because I'm filming this on my phone and that's where it is, but it's basically, it's a meditation app, but it's completely free. There is an option to donate if you want to, and you can, but other than that, it's completely free. There's no paywalls, there's no, you get 15 minutes and then you have to go to a subscription. There's none of that, which is honestly a breath of fresh air. Like, so many people who have terrible mental health partially have it because they have no money, so it was such a relief to have a free, fully free app. Like, it is meditation and mindfulness, so I know that that doesn't work for everyone, but if that is something that works for you, Medita is a great one, because like I said, you don't have to worry about subscriptions or lack of services or anything like that. I'm not gonna lie, I mostly just use it for the sleep soundscapes, but I do intend to try the meditation ones, but I'm slowly working my way through the course because I am a newbie. So, because with all the other ones, I couldn't do it properly because there were paywalls and I couldn't afford. So, in a completely different vein, another one I've been liking is the app for Wikipedia. I used to doom scroll a lot. I think I had TikTok for about 10 minutes before I realised I could never have it again. So basically I just downloaded all the funny ones and then deleted it off my phone. But yeah, I really like it because it says, it has, the Wikipedia app has like picture of the day, what people have been searching recently. Like, obviously some of it will be like political or event, like, you know, if there's a new like political thing, like a lot of them will be Wikipediaing like the people who are running and people, which is good to see, to be honest. And then some of it is just like really, really random. I think the only thing I don't like is they have recommended based on previous searches or like previous reads, which includes ones you either accidentally clicked on or read, it wasn't what you wanted, or you didn't like it and never want anything to do with it again. And the only way to get rid of that is to turn off recommended searches instead of just let me pick and choose which ones I want you to recommend for me. So that is a slight downside, but I think that's you can easily just scroll past that, so it's not the end of the world. And I did also turn off the because you can turn on your location and see pages dependent on like where you live. Like I said, I live in the middle of nowhere, so it's just like the same 2 things over and over again because that's it. So I was like, it's literally like the local train station and I think one of the local town centres, and that is it. That is all. So I did turn that off as well because I was like, well, it just keeps showing me the same things over and over again. But yeah, I've had quite a lot of fun with it. I think the last thing I was reading was about one of the Berlin trains, because why not? And then before that, I think I was reading about metaphysics. So it's, you can go on a tangent and you can like click in and out and stuff, like you don't have to read the entire thing. But yeah, so it's just fun, honestly. Another app I've been liking is one called Miss Story. So it's MI Story essentially, and it's basically storytelling. It's a storytelling app in a sort of like chat feature. So you get like speech bubbles and they can either be like storyline or talking or actual like texting. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't use it to read, I use it to write, because quite a lot of the time I think I get bogged down in how will I do this in prose. Whereas for me, because I haven't published it anywhere or anything like that. Like, I'm just using it as sort of like a way of drafting stuff, but just getting it almost just in clumps to be like, this happens, and then this person says this, and then this person says that. It's so much quicker to write things, and then obviously I can worry about bulking it out later if I want to, or if it's even going to go anywhere. I just have a lot of story ideas in my head, and getting them out in kind of like a quick way where I'm not, getting pernickety about every word and paragraph length and prose and description and all that kind of stuff is quite relaxing. So I quite like that as a writer, but some of the stories are probably pretty good too. Some of them are quite highly rated on there. So yeah, that's that one. Some things I've been loving. I got this watch a bit ago. I think I tried to show it off in a video, but I ended up speeding the clip, so you just saw me go like, ha, and then flicker it away. But it's this one. I actually got this from a toy shop, because it is a kid's one, and it's just like the Disney princesses, and it's just a 12-hour digital watch. There's no other features in it, which is what I wanted. So many other things, they're like either a smartwatch or they've got something going on, and I was just like, no, I just want something that tells the time. And analog watches make too much noise, even if they pretend they don't. And so I've lost a lot of watches by hearing them in the middle of the night, stuffing them in a drawer and never finding them again. So I was like, no, digital doesn't make any sound. So this is an oldie but goldie, but my little pusheen hat is so cute. And it's been very cold recently, so I've been wearing this a lot, especially to and from work, because I live near the coast, so it gets very windy and very cold. But I've also been watching the Pusheen like YouTube channel, because it's just so cute. I love it. Might as well just keep this on, to be honest. Next up, we have the notebook that I'm actually using as a book log at the moment. So if you don't know, I have a website where I post book reviews. I'm currently working through a backlog at the moment, but I'm nearly caught up. They go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll leave a link in the description. And I write them all down in a book log. So I basically write down in sort of like a proper log in the beginning, the title, the author, and the date I finished it. And then, so here's my one for the last bear, is I'll write the book title, the author, the amount of pages it has, rating, the date I finished it, and then just long form the review. So it's not exactly like a pretty one or anything like that, in terms of like, I don't do what some people do and put like stickers and stuff like that, because that just distracts me from writing. But I also just love the notebook I've been using at the moment. It's got like the face and the butterflies, and it's just very, very pretty. So another notebook that I've been using is this Kenji bullet journal. So it's just a sort of, it's not actual denim, but it's just a fabric cover that's made to look like denim. Like I said, it's a Kenji one, and I've coloured all the little gubbins in the front. It does have a contents page, but I suck at that. So, but I've been using this recently. It's my 2025 page. And then I've got resolutions, and then that's my January. And I started actually like, it's really for me to do this. There we go. Using it a bit more designerly, if that's not a word, but basically actually being a bit more creative with it, because this is my for February, so these are all the washi tapes I've used in it. I have a lot of washi tapes and I'm not using them, so this was kind of a way of me actually finally, one, using up supplies that I have, and two, expressing myself a bit more in it, because I think my old ones, because I kind of just wanted to get it done, it was very, very boring, and therefore I ended up either I got too caught up in the little details, and so it stressed me out, or they looked so boring I didn't want to write in it. So that one is a good middle ground, and I've actually been very good at keeping up with it this time, which I wasn't last year. So another thing that has seen a lot of use recently is this pencil case. I'm here today things good. And it's just very cute. This one's also from Kenji, and it's just got the things I use for like journaling and my bullet journal and stuff, which is just coloured pens, highlighters and biros. Very, very simple, but that has basically been on my desk permanently for the past, like, I want to say like 2 or 3 months. So I've been liking a lot of feminine things recently, which is a shame that I got into that just as I cut my hair, but you know, swings and roundabouts. So another couple of things that basically stay on my desk are my Animal Crossing mug, which I have had for a couple of years now. Like, some of the stuff's starting to come off, like it is starting to like wear away and stuff, but I think it is just like heat stickers, so that's fair enough. And I'm also a bit too vigorous with my cleaning sometimes, so that won't have helped. But this basically lives on my desk. I basically take it downstairs, wash it out, refill it, bring it back upstairs. And then another thing that's been on my desk basically permanently is this Disney Smiggle bottle. The lid I don't use. Well, because it was a sports cap, so you had to like literally tilt it to like drink out of it instead of being able to like have a tube going down like a lot of them have. And also then it just stopped working one day. So I liked the bottle too much to throw out the entire thing, so I threw the lid out and I've kept the bottle, and that's just like a glass essentially. And it's been helping quite a lot actually, because one of my New Year's resolutions was basically to try and be healthier, but in specific ways, like, and one of them was drink more water. The amount of headaches I haven't had because I've actually been drinking enough water. Miracle. Sometimes listening to your basic human needs actually fixes some basic human problems. Last in the things category, well, this is also a game as well, is Lorcana. So I have been playing this game a lot with my partner. He is a big card game nut. He plays Vanguard, Magic, The Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! Mostly online, Pokemon, mostly online. I play none. Or at least I have some old Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, but the systems got so complicated so quickly I gave up. So I can play the very, very original cards, which is basically attack, defense, and some very simple effects. You just hit each other's monsters and lose life points, and it's simple, but then they started being like, oh, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this. Like, I had Duel Links for a bit and I just kept losing instantly, so it stopped being fun very quickly. But this one apparently uses a system similar to Magic the Gathering, and it's basically cards based on Disney characters. So these are just some of them. These are basically ones I've got duplicates of. So I felt like I could put them in a binder, and this is the binder I've got. And I think Kenneth got very, very excited that I was actually interested in a card game. And so he did go out and buy me a lot of stuff. So he was like, yay! And we play games a lot together, which is quite fun. And it's a nice couple activity for us to do. Because it's something he loves, a card game, and something I love, Disney. And it works quite well, so yay to shared hobbies. Another life skill thing that I've been trying to do this year is actually cook healthier. And so to do that, I did go out and buy a couple of cookbooks because I needed somewhere to start from. So me and Kenneth eat a lot of Asian food. It's just, we just find it suits our palate. So the ones I've got are tofu tasty, because we already ate a lot of tofu because we're sort of like almost vegetarian, I'd say. So we eat a lot of tofu, and the recipe specifically that I've started trying to do is this Bookshop Katsu one. So the curry I've almost got down, the tofu not so much, because I think they want you to have a certain type of tofu, which no one around here sells. So it doesn't drain or press very well. And so it's not dry enough to make crispy, if that makes sense. Because I tried it once and basically just all of the breadcrumbs just fell off instantly because it was too wet, but it wouldn't press properly. So So if you have any recommendations on tofu that will actually press and drain, let me know. And so the other one I got was this one called Dumplings and Noodles. And the one that I've been trying out recently is the charred broccoli soba. That's that one. There's only a couple of things we've had to sub out. So we don't get black rice vinegar around here. It just doesn't exist. Nor do we get the actual soba. So we have normal rice vinegar and generic wheat noodles because that was the closest we could find. But it's been quite fun to try those. I'm still at a point where I still need the recipe most of the time, but hopefully I'll be able to like actually get them down and then move on to another one and then so on and so forth. In terms of things I've been watching, me and Kenneth are currently re-watching for the upteenth time Dan and Phil's Undertale Let's Play. Not gonna lie, we watched that with food. It's just chill, and I've been a Dan and Phil fan for a very long time, so it's very nostalgic for me. It's becoming very nostalgic for Kenneth as well, because I've been forcing him to watch since about 2016, so so that's quite nice. I don't really watch any shows, like TV shows or anything like that. I will take this back, I'm starting to get warm. I don't really watch TV, so I haven't been watching any TV shows. The last film I watched was on New Year's, and that was Journey to the Centre of the Earth, the Brendan Fraser one, which is one of my favourites. So we watched that on New Year's as part of our little celebration. And some takeout I think we had. So that was nice. But then, yes, I watched the anime, was it My Camping in Another World with My Weird Skill, I think it's called. And it's basically about a guy who it's an isekai, so he gets summoned to a different world and then quickly bails the kingdom he's in. And his skill is online shopping. But like specifically like online shopping for like Japanese grocery stores, and then it just like pops in his world. And yeah, it's the adventures this causes, and it's sort of like a cooking show as well, so it's like the meals he cooks with it and all that kind of stuff, and it's very cozy, and I enjoyed it a lot because it's only 12 episodes, but it was quite chill, and I will probably rewatch at some point in the future. And then because I recently got the manga, I'd never actually watched the show, so I've started watching the show, and it's very good. And I've just started watching Cardcaptor Sakura, because I used to be quite into magical girls, so I'd watched Sailor Moon, that's one of my big favourites, and I'd also watched Tokyo Mew Mew. I think the only Precure I'd watched was the Smile one, but I really enjoyed that as well. So I'm wanting to expand my repertoire. I also think I watched Mermaid Melody at one point, but I don't remember much about it, so I will probably go back and see if I still like it, or if it was a very much just of the time thing. So we'll see. I might like that one as well if I can find it anywhere. But that's been quite fun to get into. It's very sweet. And I forgot how young she was. She's in like primary school, which I forgot. And I was just like, why are you making this primary school child fight monsters? But it's, at the moment, I'm only about 3 episodes in, so obviously it'll probably get more intense and like darker and stuff as it goes on, but it's very light and sweet at the moment, so I'm enjoying it a lot. I guess a couple of lifestyle changes I've made is I've started taking the train to work instead of the bus, which has been very nice. Means I get a walk in the morning, means I'm not stuck on a school bus with a bunch of sweaty children. Actually, overly deodoranted children is usually the main problem. It's a lot quieter and it's very serene. Because I do live in quite a rural area, I am literally like the only person who gets on that train from my stop sometimes, and so it's just so peaceful. And it's just such a better way to start the day than bundling onto a loud bus, trundling around, feeling a bit car sick, and then trundling off again. And also, while I'm on the train, I can actually read for a bit, only like 10-15 minutes, like it's only like the next town over, but it's so better, so much better. And adding on to that, another thing that I've started doing is actually having breakfast in the morning. I would highly recommend. Well, because I used to not do it, because I'm not a morning person, so I basically get out of bed at the last minute, get dressed and then go to work. But then I'd still be hungry, so I'd end up just buying something when I was there, and I don't have that much money, so I did have to stop doing that. The next thing is to figure out how to build the habit of making myself some form of packed lunches, but one thing at a time. So last but not least, I am going to talk about some of the music I've been listening to recently, because I am a big music person. I'm not gonna lie, I have basically had the Illit EPs on repeat for the past like couple of weeks. So the Super Real Me and the I'll Like You. So I'm quite a big K-pop person. I've been listening to it since at least 2010. I think maybe bits and pieces before that. My big groups are SHINee and Stray Kids. I've literally been listening to SHINee since either 2009, 2010, so a very long time. And then Stray Kids from about 2020, so not as long, but been enjoying both of them. And I kind of like the Illit albums because they are almost like a harkening back to that old era, like the 2009, 2010 era of very sweet music from girl groups. Because while I appreciate like trends are a thing and they do have to, and it is a business at the end of the day, so they do kind of have to follow trends, at least to a bit. All the girl groups were doing like the hardcore, I think they're called like girl crush concepts, where they're all in like black and it's edgy music, very like Blackpink-esque stuff. So this was definitely refreshing, and I very much have been enjoying them, and I was so happy because G-Friend came back as well, and they were one of my like all-time favourites. So I don't know if they're gonna be back for good. I want them to be. Like, I've been enjoying Viviz, but I miss G-Friend because they're another kind of like sweetheart group. I mean, and most of their stuff does sound like anime openings, I'm not gonna lie. And then you have one of my other faves, which is Dreamcatcher, which sounds like a more edgy opening. Like, I know I just said like I'm getting tired of like the girl crush stuff, but theirs isn't girl crush, theirs is more like actual legitimate, like some of their soundtracks legitimately sound like J-rock, and I kind of love it. Like, it could be an anime opening to something a bit more edgy, and I kind of love that. So, but I think that's everything I'm going to talk about today. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I think I'll wrap it up. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. I really enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun. And subscribe, because I'm planning on doing one of these every month. The next ones probably won't be as long, because this was basically January and February, so it'll probably be about half the length. And then I can refine, obviously, like the things I want to talk about, and obviously get feedback from you guys if there's stuff that, you know, you're like, that, don't talk about that, that's really boring, or like, oh no, I want to know more about this thing, or can you include this? Then I'll see what I can do. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.